Hey, friends, I have a secret to tell you, but I don't want you to tell anybody else, especially the students, because I don't think they heard about this new invention yet. It's called a period. This concept that when you finish a sentence and you have a complete thought with a subject and a predicate, then you put on a street what's known as a stop sign, but you put a period or an exclamation or a question mark instead. So now, it's crazy, but many of you watching this probably even have secondary students that are writing or typing entire essays, compositions, whatever you're calling them in your state, without punctuation. I had one girl, I won't name the name to protect the guilty, but in Texas, they used to be able to write two whole pages, and all she had was one period at the end of the second page. And so in the conventions portion, that really hurt the grade because you might have 20 or 30 sentences, but if you've only got one period, then you've only got one sentence. So think about that. Now, in Texas, the cool thing is for extended constructed responses is that you are going to get 2 points for conventions from each reader, one or zero. In organization development for that essay, you get zero, one, two, or 3 points. And then another person or another computer called another algorithm or automated scoring engine grades it and determines in their organization development if you get one of those, and then they just add up those scores. And so in the new version of our state test, I used to be called may the fours be with you because you were trying to get two fours. Now we're trying to get two fives. So we need either may the fives be with you, give your kids a high five at the end of the year because you ain't going to get many tens, except for one lady I'm going to tell you about in my next video. So here's an idea to help kids who haven't found out about that invention of punctuation. In my book called The Dear Doc, Daily Editing and Revising of Development, Organization, and Conventions, almost 700 pages, there's this activity called the Saggy Slinky. All right. So I'm going to start sagging if you when you read a sentence that you wrote that those metal slinkies, they're going to start sagging a little bit. Now, the sample that I'm going to show you is a fourth grade response that got 0 points. The prompt, the topic, top of my head, was to combine two sentences in a very clear, and effective way. Clear and effective way. So first of all, it has to be a sentence. And for those of you who are not familiar with Texas, for the short constructed response for revising, it's going to be a very short response. In most cases, it's supposed to be one sentence. Very rarely are they going to ask your kids for two sentences in the SCR. So let me show you the sentence. And what I'm going to do is for every inch that I speak, comma, I'm, and that's a contraction, but I'm not focusing on that skill right now. I'm going to ignore that. going to open this slinky 1 inch. When my brain hears me pausing, it's a signal to close the slinky because you're closing the sentence. So what the student did that we're going to look at, they slowed the sentence down with commas, a lower bend, and just for you that are not using keyboards like Texas, uh, you you bend low for a comma and you can bend high for an apostrophe or a contraction or the quotation marks. And the cool thing about the keyboard is the comma is on the first row, and the one that looks like it to many students, the apostrophe contraction is on the second row of keys. So think of it like that, the up apostrophe and the comma that comes on down, comes on down. Okay. So I have my cap on so that you can see a specific strategy about a sentence, something that will help kids who are either visual, verbal, auditory, or kinesthetic. Let me do that again. Too many kids are visual, verbal, auditory, or kinesthetic. They got to see it, they got to say it, hear it, and hopefully be listening and actually have something, a manipulative, a prop, um, something that they can use to help them remember. So I'm going to let you see this, hear the sentence first so that you can watch me do the Saggy Slinky. It's response number 2 from the 4th grade short constructed response, short scoring guide for revising. And if you do combine the sentences, you get 1 point. If you don't, you get 0. So here we go. Capital, because the student did bother to put a cap. Start over here. Start over here. Start over here. My, I'm gonna make sure it's visual to you guys. We're gonna go work from left to right. Okay, there it goes. This way. All right. I always forget when I don't reverse my camera, like how to do it. So capital, my brother was by my side, comma, is what they put there. About 20 minutes later, comma, capital, I finished the race. And there was no period. So I'm going to have to sit here for eternity, leaving this slinky open. So if the student would have simply added one word somewhere in that sentence, it would have been easy. Now, what I think is interesting is that leaving the sentence alone and leaving it as 2 sentences, there were actually 2 places where you could have put periods, but they weren't asking for that. So I'm gonna try to multitask here and do what I call a TMI, not too much information, but a teachable moment of instruction for you. So check this out. I'm gonna show you from the Texas Education Agency uh, constructed response rubric from 4th grade. These were all written by students in the spring. So my rules acronym for those of you who follow me on Facebook is to read it, read the prompt, read the question, to understand it, to label it by highlighting on the screen or label it on the paper by highlighting on paper, to eliminate the wrong answers if it's multiple choice, or to execute your strategy if it's open-ended, and then to select your response once you have done the specific demands. You'll click submit. Okay, so check this out. The student could have done this, and what I did again, because some students are not at the sentence level, and you can see that with this issue. You know, when you're combining sentences, you cannot have a run-on. That's one of the rules of Mrs. PVC. So you look at here. This is also in my new updated Star 2.0 binder. Mrs. PVC says, make sure there's no meaning change, that nothing important is missing, that you don't have a lot of repetition, and this one here, that there's not a run-on. And so because of the run-on, the student didn't correctly combine two complete thoughts. So check it out. Shift, my brother was by my side, period. This is one way that the student could have done it in two sentences. Shift, about 20 minutes later, comma, I finished the race, period. That would have worked, but that's not what they asked your students to do. Let's do it a different way. Shift, my brother was by my side about 20 minutes later, period. Shift, I finished the race, period. Okay? So since we don't want to just throw away their entire response, what we could have done is play my game called plug it in, plug it in. Take this word when and place it somewhere inside the sentence where it makes the most sense. All right. It's just one word that I could have added. And there's 2 pages of a couple hundred transition words and phrases that you can use in both of my resources as well. So let's try the when in some different spots. My brother was by my side about 20 minutes later when I finished the race. Now, because they don't grade conventions, the students still would have gotten the point without that period, but the task of combining sentences would be complete. Okay? You can also flip it and start with the when, to start with how, why, where, O as in opposite or other, or when. You often put a comma then. In other words, if it's an introductory phrase or a dependent clause. Let me explain. Capital. When I finished the race, when about 20 minutes later, comma, because I'm done telling you my two whens, my brother was by my side, period. And so the order of the sentence doesn't matter as long as you have the content and it does combine the two thoughts. All right. Now, I want to make sure if we're going to use a comma, let's make sure that we do it correctly. And we'll close the sentence with a period for this response here. Let's do the easy one. Shift, capital. My brother was by my side about 20 minutes later when I finished the race, period. If you're going to start with the when, the introductory phrase, or the dependent clause, it would look like this instead. Shift, capital. When, shift, capital, I finished the race About 20 minutes later, comma, my brother was by my side, period. So you can see that they the explanation says that the prompt was not followed, the topic, the specific task. You can't put commas because, as you saw here, it turned the sentence into a run-on. So that's my idea. Hope you like it. I love that people will take the time whenever they get a chance to like the video, number one, to follow me, and to put maybe your favorite strategy in the comments section. I pick somebody each week who goes into my videos, actually watches them all the way through, because I don't want to just throw a 10-second thing out there just because people have a short attention span. I want to make sure that I give you some content, and instead of focusing on a time limit, I focus on a task, and I don't stop until that task is finished. So if you have any questions, if you want some guidance this coming year, either online through a one-on-one, or if you want to come to one of my Texas training tour that I do at hotel conference centers across Texas, if you want me to come to your campus or district, if you want to, maybe you'll say, "Hey, Bill, I can't come to Texas. Could you come to me?" Yeah, I'll come to you, but I just need you to take care of my travel fee. Usually that's about 500 bucks or less, 1,500 bucks for a training. So out of Texas, it would be like 2,000 for a day. And what I do is every time you get more than 2 days, more than one day, is I drop it down for Texas. It would be 1,250 per day after one day, as long as those days are consecutive. And outside of Texas, just getting me there, that's the 2,000. And man, I have so many ideas. I've been doing this for 33 years now. So I've got lots of ideas to share on every single area and aspect of reading and writing. So if you can't do that, then what I do is the training that I would be doing on that 6 hour day in one of the big cities around Texas, I record a 6 hour training. That way you don't have to feel obligated to attend. And what I also have done is, if I can't get at least 10 or 15 people at every city, then you'll get a 6 hour video broken into parts, uh, and it will be sent to your email, uh, normally as a link, because videos that long have to be in a link instead of as attachments, if that makes sense. So if any questions about that, you can, oops, this side here. Make sure you email me at writing_doctor@yahoo.com. If you have trouble getting me there, you can go to bmcdonald124 at gmail.com. Or if you type in Facebook, if you're a Facebook fan, just type without space, I'm sorry, just type the right prescription, or the ELAR, right prescription. You'll find me on Facebook, and I have like 13,000 followers in there that have been uh, kind of using my guidance, because in a training, when you go to a training, what happens is they come there for 6 hours, 7 hours, maybe if you're lucky, or unlucky if you don't like trainings, and then you never see them again. And I just felt like, you know what, I wasn't making a long-term impact. So when you do any type of training with me, in person or one online, it continues all throughout the year. So I've broken the entire year down, and I'll show you that breakdown in another video. But I just want to just trying to show you some strategies that work and help people that are struggling. You know, the reason I'm starting with short constructed responses is because they're supposed to be short constructed responses. I'm not going to be training you how to write entire essays when kids can't even write paragraphs, and in some cases, even complete thoughts. So let me know three things. Let me know that you're going to follow me, that you're going to maybe share this with one of your for teacher friends, that you'll click like, and once a week, like I said, I give a special prize out to somebody. I want one of my a digital product for free. Um, Put in the comments something that you enjoyed most about this particular video. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed rest of your day. Take care.